Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are tackling an absolute nightmare that almost every AI developer is going to face at some point: fixing underperforming, totally bloated AI agents. We're going to dive deep into how you take an agent stack that's grown completely out of control and declutter it into a sleek, elegant, modular system. If you're looking for faster execution, lower costs, and skyrocketing success rates, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We've literally all been there. You ship an agent to solve one specific problem, and it works flawlessly. It's magic. But because it works so well, the business asks for more features. So you bolt on a new capability, then another one. And before you know it, you've Frankensteined your way into a system where the performance absolutely collapses. It's crazy, but the very tasks it used to excel at actually start to degrade.
So, here's our roadmap for decluttering your agent stack today. We'll start with the overgrown agent problem, shift from messy prompts to modular skills, and prioritize built-in primitives over custom tools. Then we'll cover when to use subagents, walk through a step-by-step migration guide, and finish up with hill climbing to success.
All right, Section 1, the overgrown agent problem. Let's meet Stockpilot.
So what exactly happens when your agent outgrows its prompt? Well, imagine a real-world inventory management agent called Stockpilot. Originally, this thing just flagged low stock for a mid-sized retailer. Simple enough, right? But over time, it was forced to forecast demand, pick suppliers, file purchase orders, write reports, you name it. The agent was just totally buckling under the weight of these accumulated business requirements, mostly because everything was crammed into the foundation without actually modernizing the architecture.
And you know, the symptoms of this kind of bloat are just glaring. Stockpilot ended up with a massive 400-line system prompt and 12 completely disjointed tools. This creates this massive headache that we call context pollution. Basically, there's so much noise that communication breaks down. For example, because conflicting policy info was buried deep in that massive prompt, the agent actually hallucinated a promotion multiplier. It used 1.35x instead of the correct 3.1x. And listen, that wasn't a model failure. It was entirely a context problem.
When we evaluated this bloated architecture, it passed about 83% of the time. Now, in a casual setting, sure, that might sound okay, but a 17% failure rate in retail, manufacturing, and inventory? No way. That is disastrous. It's incredibly expensive, and we absolutely have to fix it. Moving right along to Section 2, Prompts to Modular Skills. It's all about decluttering the mind of your AI. The core concept we need to talk about here is progressive information disclosure. Think about it. Instead of forcing your agent to memorize every single business rule at all times, you package that logic into composable modules or skills. The AI only pulls a skill into its context when it actually needs it. It's honestly like closing 50 unnecessary browser tabs in your brain. It acts as massive cognitive relief for the AI, it saves you tokens, and, crucially, it prevents those nasty policy conflicts. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Think about the legacy kitchen sink prompt. Over 400 lines causing constant context pollution. Every single time you run the agent, it's reading through completely irrelevant rules. But contrast that with a modular architecture. We shrink the system prompt down to just 15 lines of core instructions, and we move all the heavy business logic into dynamic, context-aware skills. The result? A highly focused, significantly smarter agent. Which brings us to Section 3, Primitives over Custom Tools. Time to simplify that toolkit. When you're building agents, a really great rule of thumb is to lean into the exact same primitives that we, as humans, have access to when we sit down at a computer. Think about what you do. You have a file system, you have a web browser, and if you code, you can light and execute scripts. Instead of engineering a dozen highly specific, clunky custom tools for every little thing, just give the AI native access to these basic human-at-a-computer tools. To put that into perspective, originally, Stockpilot used 12 of these custom tools. Literally, one tool loaded an entire CSV file into the AI's context just to find a single data point. That cost over 200,000 tokens for one task. Compare that to built-in primitives like native bash execution. Now, the agent simply writes a quick Python script to analyze the CSV, runs it, and reads the output. Token usage absolutely plummets. So start with your primitives and only build custom tools when you absolutely have to. All right, Section 4, When to use subagents. This is all about strategic delegation.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is understanding when a sub-agent is actually helpful, right? You really only want to use them in two main scenarios. First, when you need to throw a massive amount of compute or parallelization at a problem. Think deep, multi-threaded web searches. And second, when you need a fresh mind that's completely isolated from the main context. For Stockpilot, we scrapped all the wrapper agents we didn't need, but we kept the forecasting subagent totally isolated. Why? Because it guarantees that nothing from the messy customer chat context is going to distort the mathematical forecast.
Moving on to Section 5, the step-by-step migration guide. Let's declutter your stack.
Think of this as a Marie Kondo approach for your AI architecture. Here is your step-by-step. Step 1, run your baseline evaluations so you actually know your starting point. Step 2, shrink that bloated system prompt and package the logic into those composable skills we talked about. Step 3, swap out your high-cost custom tools for built-in primitives, like code execution. And Step 4, isolate only the truly necessary subagents. Oh, and a quick pro tip, offload the messy stuff. Use a platform like Claude Managed Agents to handle the infrastructure, the security, and the scaling, so you can focus entirely on design.
Okay, final section. Section 6, hill climbing to success. The continuous loop.
So you've cleaned up the stack. Awesome. But honestly, you aren't actually done until you measure the impact through a methodology called hill climbing. This is just the process of repeatedly evaluating your agent, tweaking the architecture based on those results, and running the evals again. Let's move to and see how this builds. It transforms into this dynamic upward quest. You get a baseline, you optimize, you measure again, and you quite literally climb the hill toward lower latency, lower costs, and much higher intelligence. And just look at the victory at the top of that hill for Stockpilot. By moving to modular skills and built-in primitives, that pass rate skyrocketed from a failing 83% up to an incredible 92%. We saw a massive drop in token consumption and costs, all while achieving this huge jump in functional success. The refactored agent's smarter, it's cheaper, and it's vastly more reliable.
So, what does this all mean for you? My question is this: what bloat will you declutter in your agent stack today? I really challenge you to open up your architectures, take a hard look at your system prompts. Are they hundreds of lines long? Audit your custom tools. Could a simple built-in code execution primitive do the job way better? By moving from a chaotic, overgrown stack to a streamlined, modular approach, you literally unlock the true potential of your AI. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously can't wait to see what you build.